Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Young and restless Kyle thinks he's got one up on both Audra and Victor. His smug, confrontational behavior says it all. The problem, he thinks he's won, but he's already lost. He just hasn't realized it yet. Kyle is the epitome of cocky and condescending at the moment, hollering down Audra for trying to seduce him on Victor's behalf, bragging about exposing their plot, and even going so far as to throw it in the mustache's face when he's already on the warpath over Nick being locked up. To say Kyle's not thought this through would be an understatement. Much like he's had to do with his brother, Billy umpteen times, Jack warned his son not to confront Victor and provoke his wrath. Hot-headed Kyle shouted back confidently that Victor should fear his wrath. Yeah, that was when we knew his goose was well and truly cooked. Kyle proceeded to not only square off with Victor over the plot he concocted with Audra, but to do so in front of Nikki. Now, Nikki won't be at all pleased about Victor's machinations. However, neither she nor Kyle will be able to stop what's coming. It's simply too late. While Kyle's girlfriend Claire remains curled in a ball at home mourning her dead dad, her boyfriend was in bed with his ex-lover wearing nothing but a towel. Facts, whether he cries set up or not, the damage will have been done, but how will she find out? You might ask, if you haven't already foreseen that Victor will have that footage sent directly to his granddaughter the minute he gets cell reception. Then you don't know the Black Knight. Sure, it will hurt her, but in his mind, he'll be causing her a little heartache now to save her a whole lot of heartbreak later. He'll justify it and worry about the fallout later, which will be considerable given that he's unaware she's also dealing with Cole's death. If Victor doesn't do it, Audra will, in an attempt to hold up her end of the bargain with Victor and save Vibrante. Once Claire gets a gander at Kyle canoodling with Audra in the sack, it should be the last straw. Assuming Kyle cheated, Claire's crazy will make a comeback and she might even hop into bed with Holden, whose shoulder she's been leaning on heavily. Panic attack or not, you can't tell us she didn't notice his insane abs that night in the park. Once Kyle gets back to Genoa City and tries to explain himself, he'll discover his girlfriend's been to bed with another man, and yeah, by going to France with Audra to call her bluff. Kyle's set in motion a chain reaction and his relationship with Claire is done like dinner. He just hasn't realized it yet. Do you think Kyle's missteps will end his relationship with Claire? Vote. Kyle thinks he's won, but he's already lost. Here's how we know in the glossy, high-stakes world of the young and the restless. Nothing is ever as it seems, especially when it comes to the Abbott family and their tangled web of ambition, loyalty, and betrayal. Recently, it looks like Kyle Abbott is riding high once again. He's confident, smooth-talking, and perhaps even a little smug as he steps back into the spotlight at Jabo. But seasoned fans of the soap know better. Because if Kyle thinks he's won, he's already lost. And here's exactly how we know. The return of the golden boy Kyle Abbott has always been complicated. The son of the legendary Jack Abbott and the late Diane Jenkins, though she's far from truly gone these days. Kyle grew up with a chip on his shoulder the size of the Abbott family estate. Privileged, yes, but also haunted by the need to prove himself. So when Kyle recently clawed his way back into the business, brushing aside the fallout of his personal life and elbowing his way back into Jabal, he did so with that old fire in his eyes. He walked into the boardroom like a man who believed his destiny was finally aligning. He took meetings with a swagger. He traded on his name like currency. And for a while, it looked like it was working. But soaps are a game of chestnut checkers, and Kyle is playing like a man too focused on winning today to realize he's already lost tomorrow. His fatal flaw, underestimating the women around him. Let's start with Summer Newman, his ex-wife, co-parent, and former partner in crime. Once, the power couple of Genoa City Skyle had fans swooning, but that ship has long sailed and Kyle is the one who burned the sails. His betrayal, his entitlement, and ultimately, his inability to truly prioritize Summer's needs over his ego cracked their marriage beyond repair. Summer isn't the type to linger in heartbreak. She's gone from grieving to growing. And as she charts her own course at Marchetti, she's not looking back. Kyle, however, still operates like Summer will always be there in some capacity, as a co-parent, as a potential ally, or at the very least, as someone still tethered to his orbit. That's his first miscalculation. The Summer Newman of today is no longer the girl who once fell for the Abbott charm. She's savvy, more confident than ever, and perhaps most importantly not interested in saving Kyle from himself. She's watching from a distance now, with clear eyes. And she knows better than anyone how easily Kyle can implode. Then there's Audra Charles. Audra, ambition wrapped in silk. A walking storm of seduction and strategy. She's already got Kyle wrapped around her perfectly manicured finger, or so it seems. Their professional entanglement has become personal in all the messy, soapy ways that viewers love to watch and characters almost always regret. Kyle thinks he's using Audra. He believes he's keeping control of the dynamic. But here's the thing, Audra never plays to lose. And she certainly doesn't play fair. We've seen her topple careers, spin narratives, and survive betrayals that would have broken lesser women. If Kyle imagines he's the puppet master here, he hasn't realized yet that he's the puppet. Daddy issues. Jack's disappointment looms no one in Genoa City is as haunted by legacy as Jack Abbott. He's fought to preserve Jabot against countless threats, from hostile takeovers to internal sabotage, and Kyle, he's supposed to be the heir. The next generation. But lately, he's acting more like a wild card than a worthy successor. Jack has been patient. Perhaps too patient. But that patience is wearing thin. Kyle's reckless decisions both in business and in bed are staining the Abbott name. Jack sees it, Billy sees it, even Diane, who's hardly the picture of stability herself, is starting to raise eyebrows. Jack has always wanted to believe in Kyle, but at what cost? If Kyle thinks he can continue to make brash moves without consequence, he's going to be blindsided when his father finally stops protecting him. Because make no mistake, Jack is still the king. And kings don't suffer fools forever. He's mistaking attention for power in classic soap fashion. Kyle is currently the center of drama. He's at the heart of business intrigue, tangled up in multiple romantic dynamics, and always the subject of whispered conversations. But attention doesn't equal influence, and it certainly doesn't equal power. Kyle is playing a short game. He's maneuvering for immediate wins, positioning himself for short-term victories in boardrooms and bedrooms. But power in Genoa City isn't just about headlines. It's about alliances, loyalty, legacy. Right now, Kyle has no true allies. He's alienated Summer. He's on thin ice with his father. He's tangled with Audra, a woman who could turn on him with a single smirk. Even Diane is more focused on keeping herself in Jack's good graces than cleaning up her son's messes. He's on an island and he doesn't even realize it yet. The quiet rise of his rivals while Kyle struts and schemes, others are quietly gaining ground. Summer is building a new identity at Marchetti, away from Kyle's shadow. She's earning respect, not just as an Abbott by marriage or a Newman by blood, but on her own merits. Lily Winters is making quiet moves in the business world. Billy, ever the wild card himself, has found renewed focus and purpose. Even Adam Newman, chaotic as ever, is slowly circling the periphery of corporate power once more. Meanwhile, Kyle is stuck in a loop, repeating old patterns, burning bridges, and confusing boldness for brilliance. His rivals have learned from their mistakes. Kyle, he's still too busy admiring his reflection to see the cracks forming underneath. The shadow of his mother, Diane Jenkins' resurrection, was one of the most explosive plot twists in Y&R history, and her impact still lingers. She fought to reclaim her place at Jabba, and in Kyle's life. For a while, it worked. But even Diane, for all her manipulative charm, knows how dangerous hubris can be. Kyle is beginning to resemble the worst parts of his parents. Jack's stubborn pride and Diane's cunning, minus their maturity. He's walking a fine line between assertive and arrogant, and it's only a matter of time before he tips too far. Ironically, Diane may be the one to pull the rug out from under him. If protecting Jack's heart means sacrificing her son's unchecked ambition, will she hesitate? She might not. After all, she knows what unchecked ambition can do to a person. The inevitable fall soap storytelling follows a rhythm. The higher a character flies, the harder the fall. Right now, Kyle is riding a wave of false confidence. But it's the calm before the storm, whether it's a business blunder, a betrayal by Audra, a public showdown with Summer, or a public rebuke from Jack. Kyle's reckoning is coming. Because the real win in Genoa City isn't about momentary dominance, it's about endurance. And Kyle, he's sprinting when he should be pacing himself. The signs are all there. He's isolated, he's reckless, he's being used, he's out of touch with how much goodwill he's burned, the future and redemption. Of course, in TH.